Hello everybody, it's me Anthony. I'm here to talk to you guys about a new series that is on Hulu /FX /Disney Plus. It's all over the place, and the show is called A Murder at the End of the World. This was created by Brit Marling and Javed Khan. I think I said his name right, but who knows? You'll let me know in the comments down below. These two are also the creators of the sci-fi short-lived series on Netflix called The OA, and it was a really big hit amongst fans, but you know how Netflix does. If it's good, then they're gonna cancel it after 2 seasons. But the two of them are back with their new series, A Murder at the End of the World, and we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna give you my recap, I'm gonna give you my review of the episode, and then we're gonna talk about some theories at the end of the show. So sit back and relax and let's get into this recap. Episode 1, Chapter 1, Homme Fatale. The episode starts off with our main character, Darby Hart, as she makes her way to a book event where she tells a small audience about her new book, The Silver Doe, a memoir of her life. Darby starts to read from the book, and we flash back to a younger Darby with her lover, Bill. Bill and Darby met on a detective Reddit where the two joined forces to track down Jane Doe's. Sounds very romantic and very dangerous at the same time, but we'll get into that. Bill tells Darby that this is more than he thought it would be and wants no part in this anymore. The two argue, but Bill ultimately gives in and the two set off to find Jane Doe. The two arrive at their location and Darby hacks into the automated garage door using a hack that she learned online from her idol, famous coder Lee Anderson, who went into hiding after being harassed. The door starts to open along with every other door in the area. The two rush inside the garage and quickly close the door, hoping not to be noticed. Inside the house, they make their way downstairs to the basement and notice that there is an area on the ground that looks recently paved over. The two start breaking up the concrete, hoping to find the Jane Doe. After a while, they come up with nothing and decide to take a break and eventually fall asleep. I thought it was kind of weird that they did that. They fell asleep in a random place where there possibly is a dead person and the murderer can come back at any time. But hey, just do you. Darby wakes up and notices that the stairs they used to get to the basement look badly built. Darby wakes up Bill and tells him about her discovery. Bill agrees and the two start to dismantle the staircase and eventually find the Jane Doe buried beneath. Darby pulls out a silver ring from an evidence bag and places it on the skeleton of the Jane Doe, which already is wearing a ring similar to the one she just put on. She says that the killer started with his wife, and the two hear a noise above them as someone is approaching the basement door. The door opens, revealing a dark figure holding a gun. Darby and Billy look at the figure and start recanting the names of the killer's victim. The shadowy figure points his gun at Darby and Bill steps in front of her, and then the flashback ends. Back at the book event, Darby ends her reading and the audience begins to clap and ask her questions about Lee Anderson and her involvement with Bill. Darby returns home and gets a mysterious text from Andy Ronson, who is the so-called king of tech and is also married to Darby Hart's idol, Lee Anderson. Darby thinks that this is some kind of trick and posts the screenshot of her text on Reddit to see what people think. Her fellow detective internet friends video chat her and tell her that she should check the text out because even if it is a hacker trying to get into her phone, she can handle herself. Darby clicks the link in the text, which starts to download an app onto her phone. Once the app was finished downloading, Darby starts to hear a robotic voice call her name. It's an AI assistant named Ray, built by Andy Ronson. Ray tells Darby that she has been invited to join Andy and a select group of special guests at an undisclosed location. Darby accepts the offer and is taken to a private plane where she meets fellow guests, a well-known filmmaker named Martin, smart city builder named Lou May, an astronaut named Cian Cruz, and a venture capitalist named David. A great group of possible murderers. The group soon lands in Iceland and is greeted by Ronson's assistant, who hands the guests their ring keys to their room. Darby then gets comfortable and gets ready for the introductory dinner, and as soon as she gets to her seat, she meets more of the guests who were invited. A tech genius named Oliver, who is obsessed with deepfakes, an activist named Ziba, and a mysterious man who kind of looks like the guy from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer claymation animated movie thingy, who has yet to have his name be revealed. But if you look on IMDb, it's like Rowan or something. So if you want to go get some spoilers, check out IMDb. Andy Ronson makes his appearance and introduces himself and explains why he has invited everyone here. He explains that they are here to solve the climate change problem and that he only invited 5 of the guests, and the other 5 guests were invited by his wife, Lee Anderson. Darby then locks eyes with one of the guests who arrives late to the dinner, and it's none other than her former lover, Bill. After taking a dip in the hot tub and mingling with the other guests, Darby leaves her room and sees that Bill is at her door. She punches him in the stomach and asks him if he wants to go get a drink. So that's how people get to know each other nowadays, huh? I'm so glad I'm not in the dating pool anymore. He declines, but asks for the 2 of them to go on a walk instead. And he decides to go on a walk in the middle of Iceland, where it's freezing cold and they have to put like 20 layers on. It's a good idea. The 2 reminisce about their time together, and Bill explains that the reason why he left was that he was afraid of Darby and where she was headed. Bill says that he knows Lee Anderson and that there is so much stuff that he wants to tell Darby, but he needs time. He then invites Darby to his room, but Darby declines and the 2 head back to their room alone. Darby starts researching Lee Anderson and Bill and finds a whole bunch of photos of them together looking a little bit more than just friends. Upset by what she has found, Darby puts on her headphones and pushes shuffle on her iPod. And this is where I was like, really? You're setting up this world where there's like AI that you can only see when you're using a special filter. A person is talking about deep fakes who's like a master of that. And then you have Darby using an iPod. I mean, you know, I liked my iPod too in 2002. You know, I liked it, but you know, everybody has Spotify now. Just use that. The song that plays reminds her of her time with Bill, and she decides to go to his room. Once she arrives, she knocks on Bill's door and hears moans coming from the other side. Thinking that he's getting it on with someone else, she leaves, but the moans turn into what sounds like cries of pain as Darby hears objects falling inside the room. Darby goes outside to see if she can see what was going on in Bill's room through his window, but when she arrives at Bill's window, she sees bloodstains inside of his room and a flickering lamp that has fallen to the ground. Bill appears in a freaking jump scare that got me and puts his bloody hand on the window and falls to the ground. Bill asks Darby to stay with him as he passes away, and the show ends with Darby running into the darkness to get help. And that is the first episode of A Murder at the End of the World. And I have to say, you know, I really enjoy this. This really got me interested to see what's going on. But this show really has my attention. I like the characters, even though we don't know that much about them. We're only 1 episode in. They all have something about them that I want to get to know more. You know, you have this smart city builder, Lee May, and then you have Darby, our main character, who is interesting in her own right. I want to know more about how she got into this whole detective internet sleuth thing and going to solve crimes and stuff. I really want to know more about that stuff. But every other character has something, you know, mysterious about them. I mean, that's what you get with these whodunit kind of show. And I'm not really a big fan of storytelling in the form of flashbacks because I got burned by watching a show called Lost. It was very popular in the early 2000s, and I went through 8 seasons of that thing. I think it was 8 seasons, and the ending just ruined me. But up till then, it was great. But yes, first episode, I think it's solid. I really want to see more. But now we got to get down to the theories. It's theories time. And this is the point in the video where you can drop down your theories of who do you think killed Bill in the comments down below. But right now, we're going to activate our mind palaces, and I got that word from a Scooby-Doo movie, and try to figure out who has killed Bill. And I know it's early on, it's only the first episode, and they're going to throw a whole bunch of red herrings at us, which I think they do, but this is what I got so far. So I didn't talk about this in my recap of the episode, but when Bill arrived at the dinner, you can kind of see that there was some kind of, you know, tension, animosity between him and Andy Ronson, because Bill is interacting with Andy's kid, you know, Zoomer, which is an interesting name, and he's playing with the kid, and you can see Andy look at his wife Lee and kind of give her like a surprise, but like a mad surprise. Like he's like surprised that he's here for one thing, and surprised that he's talking to the kid, almost as if he shouldn't be, or there has been some kind of discussion between Lee and Andy about their kid not interacting with Bill. So of course that would lead me to think that, okay, it has to be Andy. You know, Andy's the one that killed him. But I think that is a little bit too easy. That's a little bit too on the nose with it. And you know, these type of shows, they can't make it that easy. They're gonna have to make us go on a roller coaster ride. So I think that Andy is probably a red herring. But that just leads me to what they possibly might be doing, and it might be Lee is the one that has killed Bill because of something that happened. Maybe their relationship was more than friends and it went sour, or maybe Bill found something out about Lee that she didn't want to come out, and that's why she invited him here, and so that she can kill him. There's a lot of questions, a lot of answers, but again, these are just theories, and I'm sure my theories will change as the series goes on. But again, let me know what your theories are on who killed Bill in the comments down below. And if you like this recap, let me know in the comments down below. If you have some suggestions on how the recap should be formatted and all that stuff, let me know in the comments down below as we go on this journey of a murder at the end of the world and see where this leads. But as always, guys, keep watching.